welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, the Nifty is down to the levels last seen on March 27 after having declined 600 points in the last three sessions of big sell-off on the D Street. Now, this is also the first time in 3 months that the index has fallen for 3 days in a row. The question is, how will the Nifty trade on options expiry? Well, we'll find out in our discussion with top market experts over the next 90 minutes. Very good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
A very good morning to all our viewers. Today is Thursday. This is the weekly expiry. We are on April 18th and a lot is happening in the markets, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take it very, very slowly. Tomorrow is the beginning of the dance of democracy. We have the first set of national elections going on, and believe me, there are a lot of things within the Nifty that are moving in sync with a lot of geopolitical events that are happening. Let's just look at today and then look at a little further. As far as today is concerned, the trend is down. Sakshi is very clearly mentioned. We are down for 3 days in a row, and a lot of things have happened since we hit a peak of 22,825. We have corrected to the tune of about 800 points on the Nifty and somewhere like 2,000 points on the Bank Nifty. This correction has been steep. That's a bit bothersome, and that's mainly because of geopolitical tensions that have come in from the Middle East, as also now it's fairly certain that the interest rate cuts that were expected in the first quarter and the second quarter of calendar year in the US markets are not happening. They will be happening towards December, if at all. The data that is coming in from there does not enthuse the Federal Reserve to cut rates, and therefore rates in our economy will also remain what they are. Now let's look at what the Nifty is doing. We have weak overseas cues coming in. The Dow, the Nasdaq, as also the Russell 2000 are at multi-month lows. If you look at what the Dow is doing, it's lowest since January 19th. The Nasdaq is lowest since January 20th, and the Russell 2000 is lowest, is actually near its 200-day DMA. The same thing is happening on our indices. The Nifty is at a 3-week low. You've seen such prices on March 27th, and if you look at the IT index, that's at its lowest since December 14th, 2023. So a lot of pain is already visible as far as markets are concerned. Look at the FII selling numbers. Last 3 days, they have sold something to the tune of 14,000 crore rupees. That's unprecedented. This is on a net level. Now, what needs to be done as far as if you are a trader? If you are a trader, wait for the dip. This is not a buy on dip market. You wait for the Nifty to rise to a certain level and then initiate a sell trade. If you are an investor, now this is where things get interesting. Remember the hurry that people were in to invest at 22,800? Well, that time has come now. You have to just control your fear and probably look at a decent mutual fund and make in an extra SIP. This is not to say that the markets will start rising the moment you put in your SIP, but you must have the ability to buy fear. The daily chart of the Nifty is right there in front of you. Sakshi, I am going to make a very keen observation when it comes to how the Nifty is placed. Look at the 50-day exponential moving average. The index is right there at 22,150. Now this level has been tested earlier in March 20th and before that on January 24th. So 2 tests have happened and the Nifty has bounced from that. If that happens now, then wonderful. But if the index goes below 50-day exponential moving average, then the pain probably, Sakshi, will accelerate. So that is what the level is. And if you see the intraday charts, 22,800 and 21,500 have also opened up as far as Nifty bears are concerned. Should it fall below level, then we'll again put in an extra SIP. But for the moment, the trend on a daily basis looks weak for traders. They should be looking out to sell the rise, and for long-term to medium-term investors who wanted to participate in this market, this is the best time. Find a good equity fund, which we shall discuss later, and put in an extra SIP or start a fresh SIP. Sakshi, today is also the earnings announcement of Infosys, and if you remember, we had discussed it on late Tuesday. In the closing hours, a lot of short positions have been built up. The Infosys stock is also the worst performer within the Nifty. It is down 13% in the past month, and below 200 DMA, the chart is right there in front of you, and this is the lowest since November 16th. So this is the pain point. I'm looking forward to Bajaj Auto's earnings, ICICI and HDFC Life's earnings, as also Infosys. So this is the map for the day. Sell the rise if you are an intraday traders, and try and put in an extra SIP if you are a long to medium term investor. Sakshi, it's interesting days these days.
Absolutely interesting day. And as far as the global cues are concerned, remember the US stocks closed lower on Wednesday as crude prices stumbled and investors weighed cautious on the US Federal Reserve's commentary on inflation and the ongoing geopolitical strife against mixed quarterly earnings. Asian markets were trading mixed in the early trade as well. So you did see the Dow Jones, Nasdaq and S&P 500 not repeating what Shail has already pointed out. When we talk about the Asian markets, they were also looking at a weaker trend in the early morning trade today following Wall Street's overnight losses, where we did see S&P 500 and Nasdaq falling for the fourth straight day. And therefore, but you know, of course, there are some positive signs as well now emerging. Kospi is now up 1.7% higher in trade. Of course, Hang Seng and Shanghai are also looking at gains of about 0.8% and 0.7% as well. So volatile trade in the early morning trading action. Trends in the GIFT Nifty indicating just a flattish start for the broader markets in India with just a loss of about 3 odd points. As far as the foreign investors flow is concerned, the net sold shares worth 4,468 crores, while the domestic institutional investors purchased about 2,040 odd crore rupees worth of stocks in the Indian equities. Now, as far as some of the stocks are concerned, let's continue to keep an eye out on Infosys. Q4 earnings will be reported today. However, experts do believe that they are likely to be marred by continued weak discretionary spending in the US, with revenue falling and net profit little changed on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The street also expects the operating margin to expand moderately as cost optimization continues under Project Maximus as well. So we'll keep an eye out on Infosys today. Of course, apart from this, from the auto space, two-wheeler major Bajaj Auto is going to be in focus. It's likely to report strong Q4 financial earnings driven by a surge in volume sales coupled with the higher average selling price as a robust economy and easy financing pushed demand for scooters and motorcycles as well. The third one I'm watching out is Tata Communications. Here the EBITDA came down 6.9% in the Q4 earnings at 1,056 crores. The margins were at 18.6% versus 20.1%, so a dip there too. Net profit, however, was seen as a huge bump up of 613% at 321 crores. However, remember that this jump is on account of lower exceptional costs compared to Q3 and also on the lower tax expense as well. As far as the insurance major are concerned, ICICI Lombard reported a total income which was up 3% in this quarter at 5162 odd crore rupees. The net profit was up 19% in this quarter. Angel One consolidated earnings revenue shot up about 64% in this quarter, 1357 odd crore rupees, and the net profit also was up by 27% at 340 odd crore rupees for the company. Ambuja Cements is going to be in focus. The Adani family has infused an additional 8,339 crore rupees, taking the total infusion to 20,000 crores under the warrants program, increasing the stake to 70.3% from 63.2% earlier. So this stock will also be under focus in trade today. Apart from this, I'm also looking at Power Grid. The company has approved raising of funds of up to 12,000 crores via bonds in FY25. And apart from this, Vodafone Idea, of course, will be in focus. The FPO opens today, 18,000 crore rupees. The company has already secured 5,400 crore rupees from 74 anchor investors, and notable among these investors were GQG Partners, the Master Trust, Bank of Japan, UBS, Morgan Stanley Investment, Citigroup Global Markets, as well as Australian Super, Fidelity, Quant, and even Motilal Oswal. Remember the Vodafone CEO, Vodafone Idea CEO, Akshay Murthy also spoke exclusively to us on Business Today television, detailing for us as to what the FPO funds which will be raised will be used for, what are the company's plans on debt reduction going forward from here, and how the company really plans to save its dwindling market share and compete with the likes of Jio and Airtel. In an exclusive interaction, 9 a.m. is when the interview goes on air on our channel, so do stay tuned for that as as well. So those are some of the stocks that I'm watching out for, Shail.
Okay, let's also look at a couple of them. The PCR will draw a chart of Bajaj Auto, ladies and gentlemen, for you. This is the earnings boy today, apart from Infosys and HDFC Life. Bajaj Auto has been one of the sharpest outperformers that you've seen as far as the Nifty is concerned. In the month of in the past 1 month, it's already up 7.1%, and if you look at the annual performance, Bajaj Auto is the top performing stock in the Nifty, up 113%. Remember, there is a buyback that's going on, and the fact that the underlying enthusiasm for Bajaj Auto has been fantastic. The other counter that will declare earnings today is HDFC Life. On a 1 year basis, the counter is up 13.6%, and if you look at the monthly performance, that is in the past 30 trading sessions, HDFC Life has actually slipped 4.5% lower. So 3 earnings boys today is within the Nifty: ICICI, Infosys, HDFC Life, as also Bajaj Auto. Sakshi.
All right, let's also welcome our guest on the show. Vineet Bulinshkar now joins in. He's the head of research at Ventura Securities. Very good morning to you, Vineet. Good to have you with us. Do tell us what is your own sense of where do the markets go from here? We've seen 3 days of strong sell-off on the street with muted support even from the global markets as well. Of course, tomorrow is when India will go to vote. This will be a 45-day process. Elections will be in the thick of action. How will the markets really navigate, the kind of election fever that has gripped the, citizens as well as the street?
So, we've seen a sell-off happening in the markets in line with the world markets. And that has purely been driven by the geopolitics that is playing out in the West Asia. If you look at Indian markets, which are supposed to be, uh, you know, dancing to the tunes of the elections, I think that the first day of voting will be very important, given that Tamil Nadu, which is a state where uh, BJP has virtually no presence, and a large number of seats that are going to vote apart from Tamil Nadu are in Western UP and other minority inflicted areas. So if BJP can put up a good performance in all these seats, then there is a possibility that the markets might perk up tomorrow evening once the voting trends are known how they are playing out in these places. So I believe that the market can put in possibly a bottom tomorrow, but the only concern is that the West Asia crisis should not kind of conflagrate into a full blown war, because the kind of military staffing that is happening from the United States and the way they're moving equipment which are nuclear capable is not very encouraging.
Yes. Good morning to you, Vineet, and as always, it's a pleasure to have you on Market Today. You've been a very well-known stock picker, and this is possibly the time when you are rubbing your hands with glee when you see the correction levels in IT, the correction levels in mid-cap, small-cap, Nifty and Nifty Bank. What looks good to you? First, is this a time to buy, if at all, and anything that is on your radar?
So, it's a very difficult question to answer, because as I just told you in my opening comments that, we were expecting the market to kind of bottom out. But, if the market situation or the global situation or the war situation kind of gets intense, then, everything gets, all caution will get thrown to the wind. So while we are looking at buying this market, I think we have to be very, very clear that if you buy in out here, then the markets could even put in a deeper correction, and hence your buying should be, first of all, be spread out over a period of time. And if I were to look to buy into this market today, I'll be buying all the stocks that have been mentioned in the uh, Modi manifesto for 2024. So be it your infrastructure stocks, be it your transmission stories, so those are the kind of places where we're putting in our money.
Okay, Vinit, let me press you forward. Now, see, we are not in the business of catching the bottom, I'm very sure. It's okay, you buy something, it falls below 5 or 6%, it's absolutely fine. Let's get some names out of you within the Modi manifesto, which probably will begin taking root from June 5th onwards. What are the 2 or 3, maybe 5 or 6 stocks which you feel should be a part of the portfolio? Let the price be indeterminate.
So Power Grid very clearly comes to mind as a play on the transmission sector. Another stock, IRB Infra, clearly is going to be the leader for the road stocks. And these two are, very prominent names that I'm looking at, where I feel that the margin of safety is significantly higher. Another stock which does look good is going to be Indus Towers, because with Vodafone getting some money, obviously they are going to be partially benefited, and that is another stock where I feel that the 5G rollout with Vodafone going into an accelerated capex program should help them to recoup some money and get some more capex going for themselves, so that their income revenue streams start flowing.
Okay. Um, Vineet, also wanted to ask you, today is also when Infosys will be coming out with its numbers. We've seen good numbers come out from TCS, but of course, due to the ongoing sell-off, we didn't see much support coming in from TCS for the entire IT space. IT was in fact the worst performer among all the sectoral indices over the last 3 days of sell-off. How do you expect investors to really approach Infosys? What is your own sense of the earnings, and how are you positioned on the large cap IT names?
See, Infosys among the entire large boys has been a very volatile performer in within quarterly performances over the past several quarters. I am not very gung ho on Infosys results. In addition to that, my views on, and you are well versed with them, is that my clear job is to stay away from investing in IT services sector because of a plethora of opposing winds that can buckle the story. So what I believe is that this counter should be avoided, and mine is a negative mindset on the sector, as I said. So I will not be looking to buy into this story.
So that's the view coming in on the IT space. What about Bajaj Auto within the two-wheeler space? Is that a stock that you will continue to watch out? Of course, it's been one of the best performers in the two-wheeler space of late. We've seen record high levels on this one. On the earnings front, what do you expect, and how do you expect Bajaj Auto to trade from here?
So I think Bajaj Auto has been richly valued for some time now. In place of Bajaj Auto, I am a buyer in TVS Suzuki. I think that their portfolio, which is very, very beneficial to the EVs launches, is well placed to benefit from this impending boom on EVs as played out in the manifesto. So, in place of Bajaj Auto, I think that uh, TVS is a good buy to look at current levels.
Okay, fair point. Vineet, we've had two positive outcomes on the monsoon, which is due over the next 15 days or so across India. One is the Indian weather forecast by the IMD, and of course the Skynet forecast. Both of them say that the monsoon should be good this time. I just want your views on FMCG sector. The PCR will fire a chart of Hindustan Unilever. This is down 12% over the last 1 year and is the worst performing Nifty stock. In fact, the only stock which is in the red over the last 365 days. Your view on FMCG, what looks good there?
Within FMCG, I think you should stick to the consumers' consumption basket, which is related to the food area. So Varun Beverages immediately comes to mind. Varun Beverages is, renewing capex. They're getting into newer areas, and the cost efficiency is world class. So knowing their cost efficiency, the ability to execute, and also the ability to get into new geographies, new product lines. They are better placed than anybody else to do well in the sector. So that looks good from the consumption space. Other stocks that come to mind again in the food space is Zomato. Zomato, to my mind, one should be viewing it as a reverse Amazon story. So the Amazon would build the front end and then build execution in terms of logistics. This company has, built a extremely well sweated logistic network, and now getting into adjacent areas which are continuously adding to their network. So I think it's a great play, and I believe that these two stocks in the consumption space should do well. Other one which I like, which is not directly into FMCG but has a consumption theme, is the railway story. So IRCTC looks very very good from these current levels. We are going to see some you know the the spiritual tourism is now catching flavor with another state like MP announcing setting up of uh, uh, a Ram Yatra kind of thing in their state. Chitrakoot is one of the areas which they are planning to build on. So this theme is now catching up with every state. It's good politically, it's good for the local economy, and it's good for the leisure economy too. So I believe that tourism is a very big play, and IRCTC would be a indirect beneficiary of the consumption.
Okay. Vineet, along with the
Fair
railways
point.
pack,
So we have IRCTC. Yeah, continue, Sakshi.
along with the railways pack, Vineet, what about the hotel space? Is this space also interesting you, because you're talking about the tourism space, the attraction to Ayodhya? We've also seen Kamath Hotels come out with a report that they've opened a hotel in Ayodhya as well. So increasingly, more and more hotel companies are really looking at setting up their hotels in such spiritual places too.
Yeah, so Indian hotels, EI hotels, Indian hotels, they are setting up the uh, largest chain of the new keys that are being added over the next 3 years. EI hotels is the only pure play uh, high end hotel which has seen significant occupancy growth and you know expansion on rates. So I believe that these two hotel stocks look very very good from the investors' point of view.
Okay, so EIH and Indian hotels, those are the hotels that you're looking at positively as well. Apart from this, Vineet, could you also tell us, you did say railways pack, FMCG, those are the consumption names that you are really looking at in terms of consumption. What about consumer durables? We are also looking at heat wave, extreme heat conditions coming in. We did see a period where stocks like Voltas, Havells, Blue Star, they were in the thick of action. Is this a space that's also interesting to you?
Absolutely, given the fact that we've seen some inflation come off now, and the other thing is that with a good monsoon being announced, and if that were to play out, then rural incomes are going to look very very strong. Additionally, Modi's schemes are working very fine. There's a lot of money now circulating among the rural networks. So things are looking to get better out there. And I believe that can fire the segment that we are talking about. So here I think Hitachi looks good. I like Virtuoso, which is a small cap story SME, which has got dedicated supplies to Voltas, and that stock can do very well. It's a 500 crore plus or minus kind of play. Uh, Doing very very good, and now they're also expanding their product lines and also adding logos. So that is one play which will do very well and is very very reasonably priced compared to the other stocks like Dixon and company.
Okay, Vineet, we missed the second stock that you mentioned from the SME space. Could you please repeat that name?
Virtuoso Electronics.
Virtuoso Electronics. This is the PLI, the
Yes.
scheme that is the
Yes.
company that's manufacturing under the PLI scheme.
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the pre-open rates. It's a tick of green. Maybe Vineet's presence has sort of enthused Nifty bulls. We are trying to open 80 points higher. 22,245 for you as far as the index is concerned. Let's see how long that lasts. But what we'll do is we'll quickly take a detour into what's happening in the index heavyweight space. Okay, the Nifty is accelerating, ladies and gentlemen. This is good news. 71 points higher, 22,219 for you. Okay, let's look at HDFC Bank trying to open 20 rupees higher, 1529. Let's look at Infosys. This is the main draw today. 25 rupees higher, ladies and gentlemen, 1440 for you. How about Reliance? This is 31 rupees lower, 2900. So within the three index heavyweights, two are in the green, one in the red. Now let us see what is happening in the private banking space. Okay, what is ICICI Bank doing? 4 rupees lower, 1063. How about Axis Bank? Axis Bank is again 4 rupees lower, 1047. What is TCS doing? It has a queue coming in from Infosys. Okay, this is not good news. 47 rupees lower, 3825. So far so good. Nifty still 41 points higher, but it is slipping. How about FNO? Let's look at FNO beyond the index heavyweights, and let's look at what is the most active in terms of top gainers. Okay, Exide Industries 8% higher, ladies and gentlemen, 495. There's absolutely no let up on this one. We'll discuss it with Vineet a little later. Power Grid is what something Vineet pointed out, 4% higher, 286. The auto ancillary stocks 3% higher, 128. Remember, Mr. Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla, will be in India over the weekend. There are news reports of him investing huge amounts of money in the auto ancillary as well as the auto sector in India, and all 6 auto ancillaries that supply to Tesla from India are already in the thick of trade. Let's look at NSE 500 and then get back to Vineet. Angel Stockbroking, ladies and gentlemen, phenomenal numbers, 9% higher, 3100 for you. Indigo Paints 4% higher, 1381. We have Blue Star 3.5% higher, 1445. This is the heat theme that is playing out in the system. News-led Ambuja Cement 3% higher. The Adani is infusing more money, 640. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the pre-open. The index is now slipping just 23 points higher, 22,170. Let's hope it's a flat day. Remember, we are on the weekly expiry of the Nifty. Coming to you, Vineet. 1, your view on Exide. 2, is it worth it even at current levels?
I think there's a long way to go in Exide. Their plant is just coming up. It's not even come up. There's a long time for it to go. So, they're setting up a 12 gigawatt facility, 6 gigawatt each. And, to be financed completely by internal accruals, at least for the first phase, 1,800 crores has already been spent. So I think, it's a great company, and there is renewed trust from, Mr. Modi when he spoke about EVs picking up and growth coming in, the emphasis on that sector. So since then, we have seen these two stocks, Exide and Amaraja Batteries, on a tear. And I think it's, you might find them optically slightly valuations being on the higher side, but you have to see the larger TAM and the long tail for growth over the next couple of decades. We've hardly scratched the surface. We are just in the early phases of moving from ICE engine two-wheelers to EVs. And among the youth, the trend towards electric bikes is very strong. And even the large, heavyweight electric bikes are, motorbikes are seeing plays come about. And I remember the day when, Eicher Motors would launch electric replacement of the Bullet.
Uh, I am not actually looking forward to it. I have been a very, very big Bullet fan over the last 3 decades or so. But Vineet, we will cross swords sometime later on an electric version of the Bullet. Absolutely no. It sort of breaks my heart to think that that beautiful heartbeat will go missing when it comes to the sound of the Bullet. Nevertheless, we'll take your point on Excite. Anything else that catches your fancy in the markets as of now?
So, recently we've seen FII pick up stake in Markson's Pharma, and the stock was up 14 odd percent last session, just before Ram Navami. So I think, what has happened is that, suddenly the market is now recognizing this stock, and we are going to see this stock move very, very handsomely over the next 3 to 4 years. And it is my wager that this stock could move up at least 3x over the next 5 years. So this is one of my very strong, you know, investment plays that I am rooting for.
Okay. Well, the other stock that I wanted to draw your attention beneath is Angel One. The Q4 results came in, net profit rose 27%, revenue jumped 64%, and the stock is shot up in the pre-opening trade about 8.6% higher right now at 3,100. How would you look at Angel One? And of course, you can throw in a wider light onto this entire broking space as well.
So, as Ramdev Agarwal pointed out, this decade is going to be the decade of capital markets. And if you're in any segment of the capital markets, you obviously have to do well. I have so many students come to me who are 17, 18, even 16 years of age who all want to get into the stock markets. Even my nephew who's just finished his 12 is, every day pressing me for taking his next class. So, this is the kind of build-up that is happening towards the consciousness of investing and excitement to be part of India's growth story, that, we are constantly going to see new faces come up into the market. And every year, if you just do a even kind of a distribution of our long tail of youth, you'll find that almost 1.5 to 2 crores are joining the system. So, there's a huge plethora of opportunities for the broking stocks to do well. And to my mind, angel broking under the new leadership is, carving out a very, very nice market share for themselves, which is quite sticky. And, they're farming this growth potential very nicely. And I believe that this is a very, very good compounding story from the broking space.
Okay, a great compounding space right here. But let's get you the exclusive interaction with Vodafone Idea CEO. Now I spoke to Mr. Akshay Mundra, the CEO of Vodafone Idea, on the FPO that's opening today, 18,000 crore rupees, which is touted to be India's largest FPO if it gets successful. So we did speak to him about the kind of fund usage that the company will be looking at, which will be raised via the FPO, the marquee names that they've got added on, and how he convinced those marquee names to invest in this FPO. Also, whether he does expect the FPOs to sail through in this dull sort of a market. As far as the debt position is concerned, he did talk about how the FPO funds will actually be used for capex and not the debt repayment as of now. Let's listen into this exclusive excerpt. So could you also share with us the key objective of the issue? What are the specific goals that Vodafone Idea is aiming to achieve through this fundraise?
So the total fundraise is 18,000 crores of the FPO, out of which 12,750 crores is for capex, 2,175 crores is for spectrum, and the balance is for general corporate purposes. Now, out of the 12,750 crores of capex, about 5,700 is for 5G, and the balance 7,000 is for 4G, which is a mix of expansion and capacity growth. Now, just want to be clear that this is not the entire funding or the entire capex plan. This is a part of our overall funding plan, which also includes some contribution of 2,075 crores from promoters, which has also been approved and in the pipeline. And we are also in discussion with our lenders for providing us debt funding. So this is a part of the overall thing, but we are in the process of fixing up the rest of the funding to cover our growth capex requirements in a comprehensive manner.
Okay. So could you also tell us what happens to the debt position after this fundraise? Are you going to be repaying a part of the debt?
So firstly, the funding, as I mentioned, is for growth capex. So it has nothing to do with debt repayment. But let me tell you, we have repaid about 17,000 crores of bank debt over the last 2 years. And our bank debt as on end of February stands at less than 4,500 crores. So the bank debt has come down to a very low figure now compared to the overall size of the balance sheet. Our larger payment obligation towards the government is the larger obligation, which is something which we have to address. But from a bank debt perspective, it is at a very low level right now.
Okay, so that was the exclusive excerpt, but you can watch the entire interview with Vodafone Idea CEO on our platform Business Today Television, where he does share insight on how does he and the company really plan to save the dwindling market share as well as compete with giants like Jio and Airtel in the 5G space as well. But, Vineet, to you, Vodafone Idea FPO, for the retail portion, it's about 35% portion that has been reserved. How would you really expect the retail investors to really look at Vodafone Idea FPO? Is it an opportunity? Could it be a big risk? How are you advising viewers and investors?
So, what we've seen with Vodafone is persistent market share erosion. And the fact that, they're getting into 4G very late and 5G also they have to invest. You need a lot of capex to be done. I don't know how they're going to claw back and regain market share. It's great that, investors have come in and, supported this company. But to my mind, I think, it's a little too late for this stock. And for me, I wouldn't want to wager money on this stock at this time. So it's generally an avoid form.
Okay, fair point. And that is what a market is, that you have opposing views and therefore they clash and deliver results over the longer term. The Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, has settled 64 points higher at 22,212. Let's see whether this turns out to be a dead cat bounce on weekly expiry day, or do we have some merit in the strength that the initially is seen in opening trades. Vineet, where do you stand on the specialty chemical space? There are again views in the market that the sector has bottomed out after 2.5 years of consistent selling. If it indeed has, then what are the good ones to look at as far as stocks are concerned?
So I think, it's good to go with the traditional names. I like, Deepak Nitrite, Aarti Industries, SRF, Gujarat Fluorocarbon. And, one can pick stocks which are related to the Nuvo sectors, which are catering to the battery segment. One high risk play out here is Ami Organics. But I believe that if they get their story right, it could be a big spinner from here. So these are some of the names that I would be interested to invest
in. What would be the battery-oriented chemical stocks that you find worthwhile at current levels? Just names maybe.
So Gujarat Fluorocarbon,
battery sector.
Gujarat Fluorocarbon, top pick, and Ami Organics.
Okay, fine. So it's a whole host of stocks that Vineet has discussed with us. We'll be marking all of them when the markets open. We are about a minute away. Vineet, a very, very quick view on any Nifty stock that you like at current levels, given the correction that we've seen. What would you pick from the large cap space?
I think XPI looks very interesting. It has bucked the trend. It's been more of a sideways play. And if at all with the markets were to turn around, I think this could be a surprise candidate to get re-rated.
Okay, we'll very quickly get Rajesh Palvia into the conversation before markets open. Rajesh, your two picks very quickly.
So first stock is Laurus Lab, the kind of reversal which we have seen in earlier session. We believe that 455, 460 could be the possible target with stop loss of 436. And the second stock is LIC Housing Finance. We are projecting target towards 670 for LIC Housing Finance with stop loss of 645.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the opening trades with us. The Nifty is 93 points higher, 22,242. Remember, today is the weekly expiry. A 300-point uptick on the Nifty Bank, absolutely flat on the IT index, and the Nifty 500 is up 128 points at 20,550. We'll very, very quickly take a look at what Infosys is doing. Okay, it's moved into negative territory, a rupee down 1413. Let's look at what Reliance is up to, 20 rupees higher, 29.50. How about HDFC Bank? 6.5 rupees higher, 15.15. So it's a decent start. 2 out of 3 index heavyweights are in the green. Out of 10, ladies and gentlemen, about 8 index heavyweights are in the green. The top gainer is Reliance, a 1% higher. Tata Motors is 0.8% higher, 1,000 rupees. ICICI Bank is 8 rupees higher, and Kotak Bank is 9 rupees higher. It's a sea of green as far as the FNO space is concerned. The index now galloping 100 points higher. Is this a dead cat bounce? Only time will tell. Now, what are the most active gainers as far as FNO is concerned? We have HPCL 4% higher, 488. Biocon 3.3% higher, 272. Power Grid 284.30, 3.6% higher. Let's look at the most active counters with gains. Okay, it's Power Grid, it's Exide Industries, ladies and gentlemen, 2% higher, 470. Infosys flat at the moment. TCS 0.5% higher, 3893. Vodafone Idea, okay, 3% higher, 1335. We'll quickly detour to NSE 500 and then get Rajesh into the conversation. Top gainers in NSE 500, just dial post earnings, 8% higher, 969. Angel 1, 7% higher, 3053. Motilal Oswal Financial Services 3% higher, almost 2100. We have BPCL, Biocon, Brigade Enterprises all moving in the green. All-time highs: Phoenix Mills, Hindustan Aeronautics, Eicher Motors, and AG's Chemicals. These are the 4 stocks that have moved. And very quickly, coming to you, Rajesh, Exide Industries, again 477.95. How do you see this counter? Where is it headed?
So I think very strong buying action is taking place since last couple of trading session in stock, and the way stock is moving up, the outperformance is clearly there. So we expect this momentum can extend further, and possible target for Exide Industry we could see towards 490.95 also. So I think those who are already in trade on the long side can hold their position. Their trailing stop loss now should be placed at around 458 to hold the position. We believe the kind of the action which we are seeing in Exide Industry and the stock managed to view breakout across all time frame. So I think that the momentum can exceed further. 495 could be the possible target in the continuation of this upmove.
The one stock that I'm looking at is Biocon. That's also shot up as far as the FNO space is concerned. That stock is also moving up 3.5% odd. This is after the company has signed licensing and supply agreement with Brazil-based Biocom for commercialization of semaglutide. How would you really look at this stock, Vineet, and tell us within the pharma space, do you now incrementally like Biocon?
See, Biocon has always been a laggard of recent times, but I believe that something might change out there. We don't track it very actively, but Biocon suddenly featuring among the top gainers is very encouraging. And we have to understand that Biocon is a very strong play in the biosimilars area, and now is the age of these new drugs which is coming in. So I believe that Biocon can do well going ahead, because the patent cliff in biosimilars is also now very, very large. So this is one good play to look at, and one can have in your portfolio as a very contrarian play that can give you a good delta going ahead.
Okay. The other one that's constantly moving higher is Geo Financial Services, now up 4% at 377 odd levels beneath. How are you looking at Geo Finance now?
So, you cannot view Geo Finance on financials because there's nothing really to show. But it's purely the TAM that they announce, and the implicit thing is that execution, top class execution, and gaining market shares given the Reliance prior experience with retail and Geo and now media is telling you, and that is what the market is pricing in, is that they will continue to be magic across the various sectors that they get in. And in anticipation of that, people are buying into it. It's a momentum play. Right now, you should play it as a momentum, and that's the way to go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get Rajesh into the conversation. The Nifty is now gaining strength, 100 points higher, 22,251. About 250 points higher on the Nifty Bank, 47,750 for you. And it's a sea of green across the board. We track 19 indices for you. All 19 of them are in the green. The top gainer is the Nifty Realty Index, 1.1% higher. Nifty PSU Bank Index is right behind, again 1.15% higher. Nice gains coming up. The advanced decline ratio is something that should gladden every bull's heart. 1680 stocks in the green, 224 in the red. Very, very quickly, Rajesh, what looks good for the intraday? There is a massive buying or short covering round happening.
So, Shelji, my view that one should look at the oil and gas sector at this moment. GAIL and Petronet, these two stocks are looking very promising. The way Petronet is now enjoying its all-time high trajectory, we believe that Petronet can extend its up move. We are expecting a target towards 330 to 340 for Petronet in the continuation of this up move possible. One can keep stop loss towards 309, and the GAIL is also looking very promising. The way stock has broken out and sustaining about 200 mark, we expect that after consolidation of last 5 days range breakout clearly showing that GAIL can extend its up move towards 224 to 226. One can look to buy this stock also with stop loss of 208.
Okay, these are the two stocks that are coming in. It's an across the board rally in PSUs. If you look at how stocks are moving, GAIL and Petronet has been marked by Rajesh. You have a very, very strong move coming in Power Grid. This is something that I need to discuss with you, Rajesh. It's one of the picks that Vineet has also suggested. And at the moment, Power Grid is 2.5%, 3% higher, 282. What are the charts telling you in the medium term?
So, Shalji, since last 3-4 week, stock was consolidating, and now after this today's gap up opening again, now stock is approaching to its supply zone, which is placed at around 285 to 86 zone. If stock able to cross this 286 zone, then this really can extend, and possible target for Power Grid we can see towards 300, 310 also on a positional basis. So stock is looking promising on the long-term chart as well as on the short-term, medium-term chart also. Those who are already in trade can hold their position. 276 should be your stop loss to hold the position. On a positional perspective, we expect the stock can continue upward momentum towards 300 to 305.
Okay. The other option trade I need to mark is the 22,200 Nifty call for April 25th. If the PCR can show it, Rajesh, I'd like to take your view on this. We've been tracking it since day before yesterday in the hope that we may have hit the Nifty bottom for the near term. Your view on 22,200 Nifty call expiring on April 25th?
Yeah, Shalji, one can buy because the way the Nifty has shown, pullback from its recent low and now comfortably holding about 22,200. So yes, we believe that, this momentum can extend, and possible target for this call option. I think one should hold till expiry this call option, because If now Nifty continues to hold about 22,200, then this rally can extend further. And possible target for this call option, we can see towards 240 to 250 also. So those who are already bought or willing to buy this is call option can hold the position with stop loss of I think 22,250 should be the right approach to buy at this moment, because now we are already trading about 22,250. So that call option one can look to buy. 130 should be your stop loss, and target is 240 to 250.
All right. Apart from this, Rajesh, could you also tell us how are you really looking at the very strong surge across the OMC space that we are seeing? HPCL up 4.6%, top mover on the FNO space. Now BPCL follows suit 3.7% higher. IOC also up, and about 3% uptick can be seen in this space right now. The entire space is up, and this is after the recent surge in the oil prices have settled a bit lower now. How are you looking at these three stocks?
BPCL is looking very promising. If we analyze on the weekly chart, stock is forming a contracting triangle, and the way stock has given a breakout on a falling trend line on a weekly chart for BPCL, that clearly shows that after a consolidation of 4 or 5 week in a narrow price range, now stock is breaking out. So I think if BPCL now continues to hold above 608, then possible target for BPCL we could see towards 635 to 640 also. So I think most of the oil and oil marketing company stocks are showing good traction in today's session. So I think BPCL is looking quite promising. Even the HPCL is also looking promising. Looking at the structure, it's a similar kind of structure with the BPCL. I think for HPCL now one can hold the position with stop loss of 484, and if it's hold 484, then possible upside target we could see towards 510 for HPCL also.
Okay. Vineet, the one question that I wanted to take with you is on Just Dial. The stock has shot up 7.5–8% higher, and this is after the company has reported earnings. 38.4% increase in the net profit to 115 crore rupees in the fourth quarter, and this is after the stellar set of numbers both on revenue and profitability front that we have seen for the company. How are you looking at Just Dial? 44% surge is what we have already seen in this year so far. It's at a year high now at 966.
I think it's a great story, and now the consistency of earnings and profitability is clearly getting established. Uh, in the erstwhile promoters' hands, Just Dial's profits were purely dependent on feet on street, new campaigns being, in very investment heavy growth. I think now the growth is more organic, it's more digital, and the operating leverage and the potential of that stock is now playing out. So very interesting stock to be in. Uh, it's one of those stocks like IRCTC which would benefit from the growth of the Indian economy. And as consumerism goes up, there will be more inquiries for different kind of services and businesses, and that is what is driving the stock going ahead.
Okay. Vineet, before we bid you goodbye, your final view on the entire PSU pack. This has been the biggest wealth creator, at least over the last 4 or 5 quarters. You've mentioned Power Grid as one of your picks, as also IRCTC. How is the overall stock health of the PSU basket looking to you?
In August, the PM had mentioned that we are looking at very good value creation coming in from the PSU space, and this confidence stems from 2-3 factors. One is that the government will continue to invest on capex. Number one. Second is the fact that inefficiencies in the organization are being systematically done away with, and sleeping giants are now waking to the fact that they have to deliver on their goals, and these goals are getting time compressed. So these sleeping giants are suddenly now becoming bazookas or missiles in themselves, where the growth trajectory is getting parabolic. And I believe that their valuations are far, far away from what they should be. There's a lot of cynicism in the market, So at some events, experts who have been tracking the private and the PSU sectors continue to believe that this is just a flash in the pan. And once private capex catches up, it will be more efficient and more faster, and then these stocks will lag. But to my mind, I think one significant change that I've noticed in the PSU pack is that the government has made a conscientious decision that the whenever the top management retires, the replacement will be from within the organization, and uh, also who understands the business the most. So there is a lot of interviewing going on within the organization itself, rather than getting some IAS officer from a lateral position who does not know anything about the domain. So domain expertise, government focus, inefficiencies going away from the system, and as I told you, accelerated timelines for delivery are adding to the growth prospects of these companies, and there should be significant valuation re-rating happening in these stocks. So the story has only just started, and I think the next 5 years are going to be very, very good for them too.
Okay, and before we finally let you go, your one pick from the defense space.
Lokesh Machines, without batting an eyelid. I believe that their license to manufacture small case arms is the first in India. It's a very, very big market. In the army, even a cook is given a pistol. So you are expected to protect yourself. Even a chaprasi has a pistol, and there are some 12 lakh men in the Indian Army. There are 12 lakh in the Reserve Police Forces, and there are another 12 lakh, I believe, in the State Police Forces. So the pie is very big. Atmanirbhar Bharat and indigenization has started, and this company has developed a product which is 100% made in India. So I believe that they've just got the license. They're setting up a 48,000 pieces per annum capacity. Initially, they are going with a 12,000 kind of capex, and this should be and even their CNC machines that they built are getting good traction in the Russian markets, because this is an opportunity. No one is exporting to Russia, and eventually I think their products will also find their way into the US and the European markets as the capex picks up there. So you're sitting on a stock which has got two good how should I say, two good verticals to play with. One is the defense, and the other is the capital goods segment of manufacturing. And this stock should do extremely well going ahead.
Okay, Vineet, thank you so much for your time. And the three stocks that at least I'll keep on my radar, thanks to you, in the mid cap to small cap space are Lokesh Machines, Virtuoso Optoelectronics. This is the manufacturer assembly organizer for Voltas in the heat space, as also the third one when it comes to the long-term picks, which is Marksons Pharma. Again, thank you so much for your time, sir. It is indeed always a pleasure to speak to you. Let's get back to the market and concentrate our energies on Mr. Rajesh Palvia. The Nifty is now 100 points higher. Ladies and gentlemen, the IT index has slipped in the negative, 33,576, about 2 points lower. It's given up all its early morning gains. Rajesh, how are you viewing the market as of now?
So I think, Shailji, stock-specific action is taking place. So I think we should be focused on the stock-specific where a lot of traction is going on. So I think from automobile space on our radar, Escort is looking very promising. The way stock has shown a consolidation and now breakout on weekly chart, we believe that Escort can exhibit a good amount of rally from here onward, and possible target we could see towards 3170 to 3180 on the higher side. One can buy this stock with stop loss of 3080. And the second theme or stock where we are focusing at this moment, that is from the power space. power space, I think one can look to buy Tata Power also. That stock is also approaching to its all-time high trajectory. The way stock has consolidated and now recovering from its recent, swing low. We believe that again Tata Power has potential to regain its all-time high trajectory and possible target for Tata Power we could see towards 455 to 460 also in short period of time. So that stock is also looking promising at this moment. One can buy and accumulate with stop loss of 425.
Okay, so that's as far as the power space is concerned, where Rajesh is very positive. The other one that I wanted to draw your attention to is Indigo, Rajesh. The stock is again higher in trade today, about 2.6%, 2.9% higher. In the last 1 month odd, we've seen the stock move up 13%. Last 6 months, it's moved up 43% odd. The trajectory has been only up and about. We've talked about the travel tourism boost with Vineet as well. Within the travel space, is aviation on your radar, and is Indigo looking positive even at these levels?
So definitely, Indigo from aviation sector is a sector leader, and I think the way stock is holding the ground across all time frame, stock is almost now trading near to its all time high trajectory. The way stock is shaping up on a weekly as well as on the daily chart, we believe that if stocks now continues to hold above 36, 30, 36, 20 kind of level, then there is a potential again to regain to its all-time high trajectory, and we have our positional view for the stock on the bullish side, and possible target we could see again towards 3800 to 3850 also on a positional basis. So buy on dip should be your strategy for Indigo, and the way stock is holding the ground across all time frame, we are holding our bullish view at this moment. For trading perspective, 3630 should be your stop loss, and on the higher side, the immediate target where we can see towards 3740, 3750.
Okay. Rajesh, apart from this, the insurance basket is something that I wanted to discuss with you, especially stocks like ICICI Lombard, that after the earnings have come on the radar of brokerage houses, many are giving a overweight rating with the new target price nearing to even 2000, 1990 from HSBC for ICICI Lombard. HDFC Life is also ticking higher in trade ahead of earnings. 2.6% uptick can be seen on this one as well. And even on this, I believe Citi has given a buy rating. It's upgraded the stock with a target price at 720. How is this space really looking to you at this point in time?
So overall, there is buying interest in most of the insurance space. Though they are low beta stocks, slow mover stocks, most of the stocks are moving in upsloping channel on their daily as well as on the weekly time frame. That clearly shows that there is a sustained buying is taking place in this sector. For ICICI General Insurance, yes, we do have bullish view. The way stock is holding the ground since last 7-8 weeks, the stock is consolidating in narrow price range, and the way the daily chart is shaping up, we expect that that in this up move, possible breakout we could see, and once stock crosses about 1735, 1740 kind of zone, then the target for the stock we can see towards 1800 to 1840 also on a positional perspective. So I think ICICI General Insurance one can accumulate at this level also, even if you get any chance to buy in minor corrective move, that will also again the opportunity to buy and accumulate this stock. 1675 should be your stop loss to buy and accumulate the stock. Possible target on the higher side we could see towards 1800 to 1840. Another stock from insurance space that we like is ICICI Prudential. That stock is also looking promising, though there is some corrective move or profit taking is happening in the stock, but still if we analyze the short to medium term structure, that is on the positive side. This decline is giving you opportunity to buy and accumulate the stock. 590 should be your stop loss, and on the higher side, once the stock crosses above 630, I think then ICICI can extend its up move towards 655, 660 also.
Okay, it's almost 9:40, which essentially means that about 25 minutes worth of trade has happened. Let's shift focus and look at the auto ancillary space. Why I mention this is because a lot of momentum on the long side is happening on Motherson Sumi. This is Samvardhana Motherson, 127.10. Again, as I had said, the Elon Musk trip to India is enthusing a lot of auto ancillary stocks, and this is a massive breakout. Is it an all-time high? No, it's almost there. 128 for you, Rajesh ji. What is Motherson charts telling you?
So I think the way stock has recovered, and if we analyze the monthly chart also, last 3 month consolidation range breakout is also taking place. Stock is comfortably holding above now 124 mark. So till stock is holding above 124, I think there is a high possibility that stock may approach to move to its 2021 September swing high, that is placed at around 137, 140 kind of zone. So there is a potential to move for that swing high. So I think those who are already in trade can hold their position with stop loss of 124. Possible target we could see in next couple of trading session towards 135 to 140 also.
Okay, there is, I think, a relief rally happening on HPCL. Rajesh ji, if you can just look at those charts as far as prices are concerned, and I'll give you two reasons. Elections start from tomorrow, so the likelihood of cutting oil prices by the government is now next to zero. The other thing is that crude oil has corrected fairly sharply, and the windfall tax that was supposed to come has come on explorers. So all that negative was there in the market seems to be now seeping out of the system. HPCL for you, Rajesh ji, what are the charts telling you?
So definitely view is positive for HPCL as well as for BPCL. Both stock are looking promising, especially for HPCL. The way stock is holding the ground, and there is a consolidation breakout is also taking place on the daily chart. We believe that till stock is holding above 484, 485 kind of zone, there is a high possibility that this stock can approach towards 510. That could be the possible target we could see for HPCL. So I think one can buy at the current level also for upside target of 510.
Okay, and I think we have a record high on Geo Finance. Yes, it's 384 intraday, now at 378. Rajesh ji, would you stick your neck out on Geo Finance?
Yeah, definitely. And just for a disclosure, I am holding this stock in my portfolio also. And I think the way stock is moving up, it's again all-time high trajectory for Geo Finance. Possible target we could see for trading perspective. This stock is now heading towards a 400 kind of level also. So I think those who are already in trade can hold the position with revised stop loss now can be around 370. Upside target 400 for trading perspective.
Okay, let's again look at some of the other pockets that are buzzing. PSU banks, they're coming back in favor. Remember, last 3 days of a sell-off did see a big beating for the PSU banking stocks. They've come back in action today, 1.2% higher in trade. And all the PSU banking stocks are trading higher, with Indian Overseas Bank up 2.5%, followed by Bank of Baroda, PNB, Central Bank, Bank of India, all trading upwards of 2%. In fact, all the stocks on the index are actually trading in the green as well. Rajesh ji, which is the PSU banking counter that really gives you confidence that it will continue its upward run, and where can investors still, invest afresh?
So from PSU banking space, I think our preferred choice would be Canara Bank as well as PNB. These two stocks from the derivative space we like. The way stock is holding the ground on a daily as well as on the weekly chart, the Canara Bank is looking promising. Though there was some profit taking at higher level, but still if we analyze the near term, short term structure, stock is very well holding above to its breakout level. So I think till Canara Bank is holding above 565, 570 zone, I think there is no as such worry in terms of trend. Once stock crosses above 605, then possible upside we can see towards 630 to 640 for short term perspective. PNB is also looking promising. Stock is holding about a 20-day, 50-day moving average. The way stock is consolidating at a higher level, we believe that once stock crosses above 134, 135, then PNB can also exhibit good amount of rally towards 155 to 160. So that stock is also looking promising from PSU banking space. Your stop loss should be placed at around 125. And from non-F&O space, I think Bank of India, that stock is also looking promising. And we expect, once stock crosses over 148, then possible target on the higher side, we could see towards 165 to 170 also. So these three stocks are looking promising from the PSU banking space at this moment.
Okay, so that's as far as the PSU banking space is concerned. The other space that's been in all the action over the last 1.5 years odd is the real estate space, and several of the mid and the small cap names are also taking their turn to inch up higher. Today, it's the turn of Brigade Enterprises to move up about 4.5% higher, and this is on the back of robust sales that the company and the sale bookings that the company has reported as far as FY24 is concerned, of about 6,013 odd crore rupees. Apart from this, so the stock is up about 4.2% higher. Apart from this, Suntech Realty is also in focus today. Company has reported 20% annual growth in the sales bookings as well. What looks positive to you, Rajesh ji, as far as the real estate space is concerned? Are you tracking these stocks or anything else that catches your fancy?
So, Sakshi, most of the real estate stocks are doing good, and the way whole sector is, showing buying interest, we believe that some consolidation is taking place, and I think this upward trajectory is likely to continue further for real estate space. The way the demand is showing, the data is showing that there is a sustained demand for real estate space. So, I think. One can hold their position on a positional perspective. Our preferred choice from large cap space, that is, DLF is our preferred choice from that space, and we believe that that the way stock is holding the ground at a higher level, uh, though some profit taking is happening, but still monthly, weekly time frame, the stock is looking positive, and we expect that DLF can show good traction going forward, and possible target we can see towards 940, 950. As you mentioned about Brigade, that stock is also looking promising. The way stock is moving up since last couple of trading session, we expect this really can extend further towards 1150, 1200 kind of zone. So I think one should look real estate space on a positional perspective rather to play on day-to-day perspective, as whole sector is looking promising, and the way most of the stocks are showing the strength on weekly as well as on the monthly chart. We believe that this really can extend on a positional perspective. So one can buy and accumulate real estate space. BLF, Brigade. Another stock that we like at this moment is Lodha is also looking promising. That stock is also holding the ground. We expect a target towards 1250 to 1300 for Lodha developer. That stock is also looking promising. Stock one can keep stop loss towards 1100. Even Man Infra is also looking promising. That stock is also holding about 200 mark, and till the stock is holding about 200, I think a possible target for Man Infra we could see towards 240 to 50 also on a positional perspective.
Right. We'll take a detour over the Nifty, ladies and gentlemen. It's more than half an hour of trade that has happened. 22,200 has slipped back with the bears. The index is now up just 40 points. Let's look at the pullers and draggers, the contributors to this rally on the long side, and the selling pressure that we are seeing. Let's look at the index that way. Reliance is contributing 9 points to the gain. Infosys at day's high 1425 is contributing 8 points. Remember, it's the earnings boy. Bharti Airtel 7 points, Power Grid and M&M roughly 6 and 5 points respectively. What is pulling the Nifty lower? Axis Bank down 1%, down about contributing 7 points to the loss. Titan and ITC contributing 4 points. HCL Tech and ICICI Bank contributing again 3 and 4 points respectively on the downside. For the last Uh, 20 minutes on the 5-minute chart of the Nifty, it's a negative candle each time, and 22,170 has been tested. Let us see what happens beyond this. But for the moment, this looks to be a drawdown of the uptick that you had expected. Now, let me just take you to a news event that's just come on Markson's Pharma. Remember, this is a stock that was suggested by Vineet Bojlinkar. Company says after conclusion of the US FDA inspection of Goa facility, the company has received 5 inspectional observations in Form 483. Let's look at what the stock is doing. Remember, it had shot up about 11-12% on Tuesday after news emerged that MIT, that's Massachusetts Institute of Technology, had purchased 66 lakh shares. 185 is the intraday high, and this is also a record high. Rajesh ji, since this is driven by volume and suggested by Vineet Bojlinkar, would you do a chart check on Markson's Pharma?
Sure. Yeah, so very strong buying action is taking place. The way the volume is taking place, I think now stock is managed to give breakout above its last previous swing high. Almost multiple supply zone is now taken out by the stock. I think now if stocks holds above 170 to 174 level, then possible upside we could see towards 195 to 200 also. Overall structure is bullish for Markson Pharma. Stock is moving in upsloping channel on a monthly chart. So that clearly showing, there is a sustained buying is taking place. Now stock is approaching to its all-time high trajectory. So I think those who have already bought can hold the position with stop loss of 172. Possible target for short-term perspective would be 190 to 195.
Okay, let's just do a detour on various sectors that we track, and individually I'll tell you the stocks which are at the highest level during the day. We'll start with the Adani Group. I'm very keen to look at what Ambuja is doing. Ambuja Cement is 1.4% higher, 626, and Adani Ports is the top gainer in that space, 2% higher, 1329. We'll look at the defense sector. At the moment, MTAR Technologies, 3.4% higher, 1882. And of course, Midhani, 1% higher, 422.95. I think there was a block deal on Midhani in day before yesterday's trade. One of the mutual funds seems to have purchased 20 lakh shares. I'll give you the right information a little later. Within the railway space, the top gainer, ladies and gentlemen, is Hyrect. Let me just get the name of this company right correctly for you. It's Hind Rectifier, up 10%, 670 rupees. I would believe this is an all-time high. I'll check that, but this is not only at circuit level, but also the top gainer in that particular space. We have Tex Rail 2% higher, 169.35, and of course IRFC doing about 1.6% higher. Within the PSU theme, we've checked many stocks. Let's go with the top gainers. It's Hind Petro, 4% higher, IREDA 3.8% higher, and Chennai Petro 3.7% higher. In terms of auto ancillaries, the ones that are showing the brightest rally, Precol 6% higher, 418, Talbros auto 5% higher, this is circuit 293, and of course Motherson Sumi 3.3% higher, 128. Within the hotel space, what is the top gainer? Okay, Banaras Hotels is not something that you check. Anyway, it's 88.60 for you. Sakshi, this is how the broader markets are shaping up for the moment. I think 22,190 is what the Nifty is, 43 points higher.
All right, with that, we have come to the end of this show. Rajesh, many thanks for being with us and sharing with us such wonderful insights on various stocks. We'll keep an eye out on all of those stocks that you've discussed with us through the trading session. And meanwhile, we hope you have a great time till we meet next on air. Let's wrap up the markets for this special edition. The Nifty up now only 0.2% higher, 22,200 has been given up right now in the morning trade. 22,190 is where the Nifty is currently trading at. Among the sectors, when we look at the key sectoral moves, barring, I think there is a loss on FMCG, on pharma index, slight cuts on IT space, the healthcare space is down by 0.6%. But rest of the sectors have all moved up into the trade. The ones that are moving sharply are about PSU banking index. That's the one that's moving up with 1.2% gains, followed by oil and gas, that's up by 1.2% odd. Apart from this, metals are shining bright, so 0.8% of a move for this one. Financial services, half odd percent higher. Autos, half odd percent higher. The Nifty Bank up by 0.4% out at 47,658 currently. As far as the top movers on the F&O space is concerned, Indus Towers 5% higher. You have Hindustan Petroleum 4.4% higher in trade. ICICI Lombard 3.9% up. BPCL and also Samvardhan Motherson up by 3.5% each, along with Biocon and Tata Chemicals, the other movers as far as the F&O action is concerned. As far as the Nifty movers are concerned, we have BPCL, HDFC Life, Adani Ports, Power Grid, LTI Mindtree and M&M as the top movers on the Nifty today. The laggards being Apollo Hospitals, HCL Technologies, Axis Bank, Nestle, Titan and NTPC. These are the stocks that are dragging at this point in time. Viewers, we'll wrap it up at that, but do stay tuned on to Business Today TV as we continue to get you all the action from the earnings and exclusive conversations with top management of the companies that are reporting their Q4 numbers. So do stay tuned.
As one of India's most diversified conglomerates, the Aditya Birla Group has constantly and consistently been at the forefront